You're going to see seasonable temperatures with a little bit of wind, but otherwise it should be a beautiful sunny day.
Last year, the United States became the disaster-driven blackout capital of the planet, turning 22 million families into homegrown refugees without electricity. This year, Big Energy cut power to another 12 million Americans, families forced to choose between feeding their kids or keeping the lights on. This number is expected to double by 2028. Last month alone, the grid was hit by 31,404 cyber attacks. A transformer or aging substation exploded every 22 minutes. And now, with Department of Energy whistleblowers confirming over half the nation would perish within just 6 months of a full-scale grid collapse, there's only one question that remains. Are you prepared to be unplugged?
Whoa. Now, there's a lot of people out there who might say that those sound like the ramblings of some paranoid tinfoil hat wearing weirdo. Not me though. In fact, if you'd have asked me that question a year ago, I would have told you that we were ready for anything. We had solar panels out back, a wood stove inside, even a backup generator just in case, along with a full arsenal of food, water, ammo, and fuel to keep my family safe and connected no matter what. And I'll tell you, I used to sleep pretty darn good thinking that we were bulletproof. However, I forgot one thing. Mother Nature remains undefeated.
Extremely dangerous. Unprecedented. Unsurvivable.
In the fall of 2024, Hurricane Helene shredded her way through our defenses like a merciless predator. Flash floods broke into our home. Looters ran the streets, fuel ran out, and FEMA was nowhere to be found. I'd spent thousands prepping for this very moment, promising the energy savings alone would pay for everything. Yet now I was forced to watch my girls eat out of cans and tremble in darkness every time the sun went down. I felt like a fraud, yet my pride was cracked in half when my wife pulled me aside and said, "Chris, you promised we were ready for this." Wounded, defeated, and out of options, I pulled my family close and accepted our fate inside Mother Nature's nightmare. Yet little did I know, in the midst of her devastation, in fact because of it, I would find the key to saving my family and achieving complete grid-free energy independence hiding inside an old Foot Locker smuggled home in secret from the Vietnam War. A once classified watt stacking secret born behind enemy lines that not only allows you to easily restore the most unchargeable dead batteries back to full working condition, but arms you with the ability to turn those batteries into portable energy hubs that generate endless amounts of grid-free electricity. And I know all this might sound a little crazy, but if you've got 2.5 minutes, I will show you exactly how to power your home's most energy-thirsty appliances, heating, air conditioning, and much more for pennies, while adding the priceless peace of mind that your family's safe, connected, and protected during any power crisis, national emergency, or if that aging grid finally goes down for good, all by using the batteries you brought back from the dead. It's actually quite simple to do, and there's no technical or DIY experience required, and the best part is, even if you don't use your fully refurbished batteries to cut your electric bill in half or cancel it altogether, you'll still be armed with a battle-tested skill set that saves you tens of thousands on replacement batteries of all kinds, from car batteries to bulldozer batteries, single cells for electronics, deep cycle boat and solar batteries, even expensive lithium ions for your power tools, cell phones, and laptops. It doesn't matter. And on top of that, you probably have all the materials you need to make it happen sitting inside your home right now. And just in case you're a little skeptical or all this sounds too good to be true, I get that. But as you'll see, the last thing I am is a salesman, and I'm not here to promote one of those fancy survival guides, expensive off-grid courses, or one of those do-it-yourself generators that never actually works. Keep in mind, I'm just a high school football coach whose family used the same free energy loophole to not only survive, but to thrive inside the deadly aftermath of a hurricane. And since then, 42,580 families have reported a combined $3.2 million in verified energy savings. After fully restoring almost 250,000 batteries, in the last 8 months alone. People like Hank Taylor, this 78-year-old vet saved over $1,000 after refurbishing 2 car batteries and 4 long-dead lithium ions from his power tools on day 1. Sean and Dana, they're now heating their entire Alaskan off-grid cabin thanks to an old boat battery that they brought back from the dead. Kaylee here, she turned her parents' junk drawer into a mini gold mine after reviving 24 single cells plus a couple old batteries from laptops and cell phones as well. Reed McCoy, Reed started a nice little side business actually. He's making an extra $800 a month refurbishing and reselling car batteries to local mechanics. And with 0 technical skills, the Harpers eliminated their electricity bills forever after creating a power bank using 4 golf cart batteries that they found for free at the local recycling center. The possibilities for savings here are almost endless, and with electricity about to turn into a luxury item for most of us, the timing couldn't be better. I'm going to show you how to make all this happen right now. But just remember, with this many people eliminating the need for expensive new batteries and so many others stockpiling the cash that they're saving on fuel, power, and propane, I gotta warn you, there's blood in the water. See, as it turns out, the boys over in charge at Big Energy and the battery companies, well, they ain't too happy about you keeping your hard-earned money where it belongs instead of it paying for their Bentleys and BMWs. In fact, I've got this folder here that's now thicker than my fist. Okay, this is stacked with cease and desist letters to prove it. Okay, so be sure to watch this quick tutorial to the very end before they somehow take it down again. You will be glad that you did, because by the time we're done here in the next few minutes, you and your family will be armed with an infinite evergreen power source, one that not only guarantees their safety along with a ton of savings, but gives the gift of true energy independence, ensuring that you are the go-to hero in any crisis situation. All right, let's get going. My name is Christopher Riggs, and I live here in Chimney Rock, North Carolina with my wife and my 2 daughters, and as I mentioned, I coach football here at our local high school. The girls and I lead a pretty ordinary life up here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, but I'll tell you right now, the chain of events that unlocked this amazing discovery is anything but ordinary. Unfortunately though, it all kind of kicks off in a way that's far too familiar for a lot of folks these days. See, after 20 plus years at North Carolina's largest semiconductor plant, my job and my livelihood was sold overseas to the lowest bidder. I'd worked my way up from the kid who swept the floors of that place to the lead technician in charge of running their multi-million-dollar machines. And all I got in return was a pink slip. Thankfully though, 4 years playing defensive end at Wake Forest landed me the coaching spot at our local high school, and it was my dream job. It still is, don't get me wrong, but as I'm sure you can imagine, it also came with a massive pay cut. On top of that, with government inflation now choking out what's left of the middle class, not to mention with Big Energy now bleeding away a quarter of our paychecks for themselves each month, many families like mine were forced to make some brutally un-American decisions, like pay the heating bill to keep your kid warm, or just toss another blanket on your child and tell them to tough it out. Or make the choice to replace the dead car battery so you can get to work, or be forced to leave the grocery cart half empty again. And I mean, if hearing stories like that doesn't force you to step up, then I don't know what would. So that's what we did. And I'll tell you right now, it wasn't easy. We sacrificed daily and saved up for a couple solar panels to keep the lights on, a second job, paid for the secondhand wood stove to eliminate our propane bill. Most of the food we ate was the elk packed out on our backs from the forest, or it was pulled fresh from the garden by my girls. And pretty soon, I found peace knowing that my family was fed, warm, safe, and ready for anything. As far as I was concerned, we had earned our own little piece of the American dream. However, Mother Nature had different plans for us. Forecast that day said to expect some above average winds and a little extra rain. Yet during the evening hours of September 27, 2024, Hurricane Helene changed her course and slammed into the side of our house. Windows exploded around us and ripped away our roof one piece at a time. The sound of trees snapping echoed like shotgun blasts as they punched through the solar panels. My youngest said it sounded like demons screaming from a freight train. Yet all I could hear were the screams of my eldest after Helene collapsed the remains of our roof, sending a piece of twisted steel into her leg. For the rest of the night, the rain whipped against our faces like buckshot. Power poles exploded and settled at the bottom of the road along with the remains of someone's house. And now, with our only means of escape stolen from us, our situation had officially gone from critical to terminal. Paralyzed without power, we all just suffered inside our flood-soaked homes for days. And as I'm sure you saw in the news,
FEMA's not connecting with the county's not connecting with the state.
People are dying in North Carolina. They're dying.
FEMA, well, they simply decided not to show up. Apparently they had better things to do, which meant instead of a doctor stitching up my daughter's leg and maybe giving her something for the pain, she had to bite down on a belt and watch her daddy do it instead. So, without any relief in sight, for the next few weeks we were forced to eat out of cans. We boiled drinking water on front lawn campfires and my generator sat silent under 2 feet of mud. And you know what? Even if I had made the 8-mile trek to town to try to find a backup power source, the unpatriotic animals had already stolen all the portable means of electricity in sight. The truth is, my family was fading fast and my capability as a father was starting to crack. Until one day, in late October, when I found a small beacon of hope sitting inside my flooded basement. Now, some people say this next part was just blind luck. But I'll tell you, that day in October, my faith was reaffirmed by an old green box smuggled home from a jungle 50 years ago. Inside, laying dormant for the last half-century, was a secret to generating unlimited electricity on demand. And it's the same infinite power source that I'm going to share with you right now. See, way back in 1967, the Vietnam War had actually begun to shift in our favor, and our soldiers were on the verge of gaining some valuable ground. Yet there was still one problem. Our heavy equipment, Jeeps, and personnel carriers, specifically the American-made batteries that powered them, kept failing under the swampy and humid jungle hellscape. Vehicles were abandoned, men were stranded, and weapons fell silent. And before long, the Viet Cong was driving our Jeeps, firing our own bullets back at us. Something had to be done. That's when President Nixon approved Operation Phoenix Watt. Lawmakers secretly mandated battery companies to hand over all trade secrets, the exact sequence and steps needed to revive even the most dead, war-torn batteries back to 100% working condition. Field commanders assembled the most resourceful men, usually blue-collar boys back home, to distill those trade secrets into battle-ready tradecraft. And pretty soon, a lone soldier from the Phoenix Squad and his revival kit had the power to turn even the most lifeless batteries into last-chance lifelines for our stranded troops. Corroded, cracked, waterlogged, even riddled with bullets, it didn't matter. Armed with just a rifle, some tools, and some repurposed materials, these men became masters of getting our boys out from behind the enemy lines and back in the fight. Within a single year, vehicle abandonment rates dropped by 78%. POW rates dropped to the war's lowest levels, but that's not all. The unit also found a way to transform their batteries into portable energy hookups capable of powering almost any device. They called it watt stacking, and its impact was immediate. During extended combat, multiple field radios and 6-pound Starlight scopes could be found charging off a single Jeep battery. Back at the barracks, soldiers plugged in fans, stereos, and signal jammers into discarded EKG and ATV batteries. And in 1970, after the Viet Cong cut power to Firebase ripcord, an old bulldozer battery saved countless lives, powering searchlights while unleashing the thunder inside the quad-mounted 134 minigun to tear through the tree line and protect the perimeter. The men from the Phoenix Squad returned home as unsung heroes in 1973, and rather than medals pinned to their chests, instead these heroes were sworn to silence, bound by a gag order to take their battlefield tradecraft to the grave with them. Now, some say it was all part of a deal made with the battery companies to protect their profits moving forward. Others say this seems to make a lot more sense now that our government didn't want regular folks like you and I to have unlimited access to free energy. But, as we all know, some secrets refuse to stay buried. See, after nearly 7 weeks without power, flash floods soaked our home once again, and this time they crept into the cellar. And I mean, nobody likes to be kicked when they're down. However, the Lord's silver lining to this setback was finding my father's old footlocker from Vietnam amongst the floating debris. As a child, the old box served as a sort of, it was like a time capsule of his life for me, filled with faded pictures and postcards, all just silent reminders of the man Agent Orange took from my mother and I when I was just 3 years old. And I mean, I hadn't opened the darn thing since my 20s, but this time, something unusual caught my eye. Underneath all of his old artifacts was a tattered file folder along with a few laminated cards looped to a rusty keyring. To my shock, the folder revealed that my dad had been one of the founding members of Operation Phoenix Watt. And those cards, they weren't just keepsakes. On the front of each was the exact sequence needed to revive even the most unchargeable batteries, restoring them to full power. And when you flip them over, there it was, the formula for watt stacking, a trick to turn those revived batteries into portable power stations that could run almost anything. And after nearly 2 months of surviving without power, I'll tell you, those little cards might as well have been the Holy Grail. From there, I wasted no time scavenging the house for dead batteries and the materials needed to bring them back to life. In the end, I had a table stacked with potential power sources, but I only had about half the materials the cards called for. However, that wouldn't be a problem. See, battery tech had been simplified since the 1960s, eliminating the need for many of the missing pieces. Plus, with my background assembling semiconductors and running machines, many of them outdated back at the factory, I found ways to simplify, merge, and even get rid of some of my dad's original steps. From there, in the stillness of my living room, my hands moved with steady confidence as I went to work on an old corroded car battery. And in the end, even I was shocked at how quickly the entire process was completed. But I was even more amazed when I checked the charge. The needle on the meter jumped up and bounced into perfect position, confirming this battery, this one right here, that hadn't taken a charge in over a decade, was now back to 100% working condition. But I wasn't done yet. I snatched the battery off the table, grabbed an old electric heater from the garage, and carried both into the frozen room where my children slept. I flipped over the plastic card, and using my dad's watt stacking method, in just minutes, I was able to easily rig the car battery up to the space heater. I took a quick second, I sent up a prayer, and then I flicked the switch. First, an ominous hum, then a quick crackle and buzz, followed by an orange glow that crept into the heater's coils, and finally, the heater roared to life, floating waves of warm air across my children as they slept. And in that moment, I wasn't just a dad keeping his kids warm, I was a man who'd reclaimed his power. By sunrise, a small army of resurrected batteries sat before me. 2 car batteries, 3 lithium ions, an ATV battery, along with an old stack of AA's, C's, and G's. Even an old laptop battery, each one fully recharged and ready to fuel our comeback. Later that morning, I hooked up the old laptop to the ATV battery and printed out the simplified steps for my neighbors to get back in the fight as well. And by noon, the mountain echoed with the hum of chainsaws, generators, power tools, all undoing Helene's destruction 1 watt at a time. And that night, lights flickered on inside the houses that still stood, offering heat and sanctuary to friends who'd lost theirs. The McCluskeys charged all of our cell phones and power tools off an old dirt bike battery. The Boyds did all of our laundry thanks to an old cell from an F-150. And instead of cooking on our usual front lawn fire pits, the Clarks had food in the oven for everyone, all powered by a deep cycle boat battery. Our little survival story made a couple headlines in a few local papers. But guess what? When the power came back on 4 months later, most of us never hooked back up. Why would we? I mean, yeah, Mother Nature had taken away our electricity. However, God, along with a little American-made ingenuity, had now empowered us to save thousands while resurrecting my father's legacy for saving lives 50 years after sacrificing his own for this country. And since then, 42,580 other families have embraced that legacy while safeguarding their own using the simple step-by-step system we call Last Battery. As I'm sure you can imagine, I had no idea bringing that first worn-out car battery back to life in my living room would lead to over 40,000 people reviving almost 250,000 batteries in the last 8 months that followed. And now, thanks to a ton of word of mouth, praise from independent media outlets, and thousands of very kind 5-star reviews, not only has Last Battery's watt stacking tradecraft manual earned Americans a combined $3.2 million in grid-free energy savings, but as of this morning, the Last Battery Revival Guide has now helped people like you refurbish exactly 249,811 unchargeable dead batteries of all kinds back to full working condition, which means we're only about 200 batteries away from hitting the 250,000 battery milestone. And I'm hoping that by taking 73% off the Last Battery Revival Guide today, that you might be one of the people to help make that happen. On top of that, you've been kind enough to lend me some of your valuable time and attention today. And because my wife likes to remind me, Quite often, I might say that I can be a little long-winded at times. To show my appreciation for your time and patience, she told me I ought to just give you the Last Battery Watt Stacking Tradecraft Manual for free as a thank you gift today. And I happen to think she might be right, because if removing any and all obstacles, including price, helps just one more person claim grid-free energy independence, then I'm more than happy to make that happen. Which means for today, not only will you be given the Last Battery Revival Guide for 73% off, but you won't be paying anything for the Watt Stacking Tradecraft Manual either, okay? So let's have a quick look inside each to see what you're getting. Okay, first, inside your Battery Revival Guide, which you'll have complete access to in just a minute, you're gonna be excited and maybe even a little surprised to see just how fast, safe, and easy it is to bring even the most worn out, corroded, and fully drained batteries all the way back up to full working condition. Because remember, the average person is going to spend about $28,000 on batteries over the course of their lifetime, but you're going to be able to pocket all that. Plus, you're going to grant yourself immediate immunity from those green battery taxes scheduled to double almost every battery's price by the end of this year. Your Revival Guide comes with kid-simple instructions, crystal clear diagrams, and even video walkthroughs, so you'll be armed with the ability to refurbish almost any battery. And that goes for car, solar, single cells, deep cycle, even expensive lithium ions in no time, using materials that you most likely have at home right now. And just like Tammy, a nurse's aide from Kentucky, says, this Battery Revival Guide alone is a total game changer. It's only day one, and I've already got 2 old car batteries running, and every old AA, AAA, C, and D battery from the junk drawer is as good as new. And then there's Mike Epps. He's a contractor from Des Moines who had a bin full of long dead lithium ions from his drills, saws, and sanders. He just sent me an email the other day saying, thanks so much, Christopher. I used to have to hand over $150 to Home Depot every time one of my power tools burnt out. Not anymore, brother. I just knocked out 12 lithium ions with the Battery Revival Guide and turned that bucket of trash into a bounty of batteries worth $1,400. Bounty of batteries. I haven't heard that before, but I like it. And oh, and by the way, I almost forgot, you also find some hidden gems in there, like the dollar store hack that doubles almost any battery's charge and triples its lifespan. That's on page 12. On page 16, you're gonna learn the disaster-proof storage method that Army Rangers use to store their batteries to hold the charge for decades. And you'll learn the hidden reset trick that uses one household item to bring even the most burnt out power tool battery back to life in under 40 seconds. Plus, so many more. There's a ton of great tricks in there. And remember, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because while the Battery Revival Guide gives you the power to bring any battery back to life, it's the Watt Stacking Tradecraft Manual, which again, you're gonna be given for free today, that arms you with the ability to turn those batteries into your own personal energy hubs to not only power your home, but to keep your kin safe, protected, and connected during any power outage, or if, God forbid, those lights go out for good. Inside, you're gonna find out pretty quickly there's no technical skills required. The diagrams and pictures are easier than Lego instructions to follow. And with tons of ideas for energy hookups, you'll never be without power when it matters most. And the best part is, well, my favorite anyway, is with grid-free electricity at your fingertips, you'll finally be able to tell those power companies where to stick their bills. Carl Trainer from Arizona did just that recently. He joined Last Battery's Zero Grid Club after creating an energy bank out of refurbished car batteries to power his entire home. And this isn't some small off-grid cabin. Carl lives smack dab in the middle of Phoenix, and now he's got a stack of old car batteries keeping his family connected and cool in 110-degree weather. And again, remember, you don't have to go all in like Carl did. Just a quick look at some of Last Battery's reviews shows you the possibilities for savings and survival are almost endless. On camping trips, the Sullivans use the battery from their old Toyota Camry to power everything from pumps to cell phone chargers, even their coffee maker. Heather from Grand Rapids heats her entire greenhouse in the winter thanks to an old boat battery. Daryl bypassed the meter at the trailer park and hasn't paid for electricity in over 6 months. And one of my favorite reviews came earlier this year from the Jensen family in Western Michigan. They built their power bank out of discarded golf cart batteries to store energy from their solar panels. Originally, it was just used to cut electricity costs and keep the lights on during the odd power outage. But when last year's ice storm plunged 20,000 families into a 2-week blackout with nothing but sub-zero air seeping through the walls, the Jensens still had a steady and reliable stream of electricity to keep safe and stay connected, all thanks to this once classified tradecraft called watt stacking. And remember, this is just a tiny glimpse into the $3.2 million in watt stacking and battery revival savings that you're about to claim a giant chunk of. And obviously, what you do with all that money you'll no longer be spending on bills and batteries is totally up to you. You can save for a rainy day or splurge on something you deserve. It doesn't matter, because remember, Last Battery isn't just a tradecraft that you use once or twice. It's the Swiss Army knife of survival and savings, and it pays out for the rest of your life. So, well, you can have your cake and eat it too. The savings this year alone could equal a few free car payments or even fit the bill for a long overdue vacation. Each month, you could simply stash the cash or stockpile supplies just in case. You can go to a ball game or hit the track for free, or simply just treat friends and family to dinner without worrying about the prices on the menu, because part of freedom is doing whatever the heck you want with your money. And when you're able to hold on to so much more of it, instead of handing it over to those guys, the possibilities are endless. And as you and I both know, the timing for a saving solution that grants you complete grid-free immunity from what's coming, well, it couldn't be more critical. Because despite handing over a quarter of our paycheck to Big Energy each month, and the sting of opening our electric bills starting to feel more like a kick to the ribs, the truth is, their grid, our lifeline, is now on the verge of collapse. They even admit it, and now it seems like all it takes is a small snowstorm, a fire, another cyber attack, or just too many damn Teslas getting plugged in at the same time, and the thing is toast. I just checked my phone before taping this. There's currently 6.8 million people suffering without power in this country right now, and guess what? Many of these people spent a small fortune putting panels on the roof or a generator in the yard like I did. Yet they're sitting there stranded and helpless without power, or even worse, packed into some forgotten shelter rotting away. Because why? Because the batteries inside their backups are dead. They're draining faster than ever, yet battery prices have doubled every decade since 1970, and they're set to triple by the end of this one. The bottom line here is that when a battery dies or the lights go out, Last Battery gives you the power to step up every single time. I'm going to give you access to everything you need to take that step right now. But just know that when you do, you're not just unlocking the code to save tens of thousands on batteries and electricity, you're making the decision to arm yourself with a critical skill set that eliminates uncertainty, protects your family, and secures a future they can count on. That's a future I believe every American should be able to afford, and as you'll see right now, I've done my damnedest to make that happen. At first, I struggled with the pricing because after becoming the key to our survival and now a lifetime of savings on bills and batteries, my neighbors told me I had to charge at least $500 for the battery revival guide on its own. However, as I'm sure you can imagine, when you've been humbled to your knees by a hurricane, helping others becomes a lot more important than just making a profit, you know? So I asked my accountant, how much does it cost to cover things like research, website expenses, online security, customer service, all that kind of stuff, and he said about $140. Plus, he pointed out that you're gonna save even more than that after restoring just one single car or power tool battery instead of replacing it. That sounded more than fair. So until today's 73% off sale, $140 is the price everyone else has paid for the Last Battery Revival Guide on its own. And since $140 is also now the average cost of our electric bills each month, that's the same price folks have happily invested for the Watt Stacking Tradecraft Manual as well, since it'll no doubt cut that bill in half or help you cancel it altogether. But as I mentioned, that book is my free gift to you today for your time, so you won't be paying a single cent for it. And as for your hefty discount on the Last Battery Revival Guide, as I'm sure you remember, we're only inches away from helping folks like you restore 250,000 batteries, and I want to help you be one of the friends to make that happen. So today, while this page is still on your screen, not only will you be receiving the Watt Stacking Tradecraft Manual for free, but you're getting 73% off the Last Battery Revival Guide as well, which gets you the entire Last Battery system for just $37. That's just one single payment of $37 for both books, a combined total savings of $243. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, I can only afford to release the entire system at such a deep discount during the next few moments while this page is still on your screen. But don't worry, your own personal copies of the Revival Guide and the Watt Stacking Manual will be reserved for you as soon as the Add to Cart button pops up below right now. Okay, there it is below. Your very own complete last battery package is officially on hold for you for the next 10 minutes. Remember, at $250 off the retail price, we're expecting a higher volume than usual, and in order to provide the level of service that we hold ourselves to, I can only maintain that hold for the next 10 minutes. So after that, as I'm sure you'll understand, I've got to release the plans to the next person in line. So please, the button to claim your own personal edition of Last Battery is now below. Once you push it, you'll be taken to a secure page that looks just like this. Here we use the same online safety technology as Under Armour and Walgreens, allowing you to enter your information with complete confidence. So just take a moment to finalize your order now and secure your discounted price. Once you do, free Platinum 24-hour customer service will be included to your order. You'll receive my personal email address, and you'll be inside our VIP members area, where you'll be able to download the entire package as many times as you like on as many devices as you want right away. This way, you won't have to wait for them to arrive in the mail, and you'll be able to easily start turning old batteries into your own personal power source in the next few minutes. Remember, there's zero guesswork and there's absolutely no DIY or tech skills required, and I'm gonna bet that you most likely have everything you need to get started at home already. And if you're missing any of the inexpensive materials, inside I show you exactly where to get them at the lowest price or where most people get them for free. And finally, I just wanted you to know that when you do push the Add to Cart button and secure your system, you'll also have the confidence of knowing that you're protected by the Last Battery promise as well. This is our 100% satisfaction, 60-day, no questions asked guarantee that gets you a full refund for any reason under the sun if you so desire. Because remember, I'm not some big company who answers to bottom lines and shareholders. The only person I answer to is that gentleman up there and you, the customer. So with that in mind, in 60 days, 8 full weeks from today, if you can't say this is one of the most valuable decisions you've ever made, then I urge you to call, email, even write a letter demanding a full refund, which you will get immediately with no questions asked. And I know saving over $200 on the entire Last Battery system makes the choice to hit that button below pretty easy. However, it's the Last Battery promise that guarantees your choice is informed and that your small investment is safe and secure no matter what. So please, take a second right now to make that easy and informed decision. Claim Last Battery as your own and lock in all those savings while you still can. Because, well, really the only thing I can't guarantee is that you or anyone else for that matter will ever have the chance to secure this system, even at full price, tomorrow, next week, or ever again. Because see, well, I'm grateful for all those 5-star reviews, pictures and posts of families making this tradecraft their own. Let's just say the big chiefs in charge over at the battery companies and Big Energy aren't, well, they're not sending me any thank you cards, that's for sure. In fact, according to their 22 cease and desist letters, they don't seem to like the idea of you having access to an unlimited energy loophole that empowers you to keep your money instead of handing it over to them, which means it's not really a matter of if they're gonna shut this page down, it's when. So go ahead. It only takes a second below to claim an entire lifetime of energy independence. And remember, when you do, there's no risk because again, your small investment is protected by the Last Battery promise. Just keep in mind, my reputation, my livelihood depends on Last Battery over-delivering on each and every promise and pledge that I've made today, which means if you want your money back for any reason, again, you don't even have to tell us why, you're gonna get back every dollar immediately. That's not only guaranteed, but you have my word on that. And like you, I still believe that a man's word is his bond. So I'm hoping that this added layer of protection serves as a firm handshake that not only guarantees your success, but reaffirms my commitment to you with just a click of a button below. This is your tradecraft for taking back control. There's still time left on that clock, and this is your moment to claim what you deserve and power forward. Hit that button below and make Last Battery yours for good. All right, and I think that's about it. Actually, I guess this is probably the part where the sales guys would most likely go into their final pitch, right? They'd be telling you to act now or take action before it's too late. But I'm not gonna do that, as I'm sure you can imagine. I hate that stuff as much as you do. I mean, the fact that you're still here already proves you've realized just how valuable the Last Battery skill set really is, right? It shows you're one of the few who still respect the value of the dollar, whether you'd like to keep an extra 20 or 30 or 40,000 of those hard-earned dollars over the course of your lifetime instead of tossing it away every time a battery dies. Or, more importantly, it means that you just want to take back a nice big chunk of freedom, claim complete energy independence, and double those savings I just mentioned. It's up to you, but if you ask me, both sound pretty darn good. And if you're still here, I think it's safe to say that you feel the same, which means your head and your heart have already made the decision to take that next step and make all of that happen. Okay? Now all you got to do is take it. And I guess if you haven't done that yet, I'm not sure what else to say, really. Remember, I ain't no pitch man. I make a living barking plays at teenagers and shoulder pads, but what I will tell you is this. When you hit that add to cart button below, you're going to be adding something that nobody can put a price tag on, and that's peace of mind. Because even if our government finds some magic wand wave that lowers your electricity bill, or they somehow find some way to patch up that ancient grid that's about to break, and even if our enemies decide to stop attacking it on a daily basis, the truth is, Mother Nature remains undefeated, and she will until the end of time. And these days, I'm sure you'll agree that she seems a little angrier than usual. Remember, I know all this from experience, and the only reason that I'm talking with you today is because of this lifeline left behind by my father's legacy. It's the same one that I'd like to be able to pass on to you right now. A skill set that arms you with the ability to step up and power your family through any emergency outage or grid down scenario. Remember, 40,000 satisfied success stories have already taken that step. You have a guarantee that has your back no matter what, all at the lowest price anyone will ever see ever again. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, by hitting the button below, you're not just saying yes to a money-saving system that pays out for the rest of your life. You're saying absolutely to adding an essential skill set that empowers you and protects your family for the rest of theirs as well. And that's priceless. All right, so if you agree, take action now and secure that kind of peace of mind that nobody can put a price tag on while you still can. I want to thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully I've given you everything you need to take that next step. Take care. Oh, and by the way, when you do, you're going to be given my personal email address. If you could please send me a picture of you with your very first fully restored battery. Obviously, you don't have to, but if you did, it would absolutely make my day. All right, so anyway, thanks again for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.